This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network. And welcome everybody to another Tiny Toons episode of the Animaniacast.
No, my turn. Not your turn. My turn.
All right, you push number 8. What a big boy.
I push 8.
Yes, you did, hon.
Elevator go up.
That's right, son.
Elevator go up.
You got it.
Elevator go up.
Yes.
Elevator go up.
Yeah.
And welcome everybody once again to another episode of Talkin Tiny Toons. This is the spin-off series of the Animaniacast. And today we are talking about another episode of Tiny Toon Adventures. We are revisiting all of our favorite jokes and all the cultural references that we can think of. And of course, in the end, we're going to give this episode of Tiny Toon Adventures a water tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again is my brother Nathan.
It's my turn, not your turn. I introduced myself, not you.
And across the country in Georgia, it's Kellie.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Well, today we are talking about a classic, another classic episode of Tiny Toon Adventures. It's episode 82 of Tiny Toon Adventures, which is also known as Season 3, Episode 4, which is also known as What Makes Toons Tick, which is also known as the segments Whirlwind Romance Going Up and Nothing to Sneeze At. That's right, this is the one where it's right dead in the middle of this one. We're going to see Little Plucky, or Baby Plucky, depending on what you want to call him, pushing the button. Yes, classic one. This was Kellie's choice. And Kellie, why did you decide to pick this one? I gave you a listing of a lot of different possibilities because, you know, our listeners have a lot of different suggestions of which ones we could talk about. Why did you pick this one?
Because Baby Plucky and elevator go up, elevator go down.
Now, this episode, of course, we all know Baby Plucky was based upon Cody Ruegger. Nathan Ruegger voiced him. But Cody Ruegger actually apparently was the real Baby Plucky, with both flushing the toilets and with pushing buttons. I actually just messaged Tom Ruegger just to say, hey, just because we had Tom and Luke, Cody, and Nathan all on with us a couple of years ago, and Cody talked about pressing the buttons. So I said, hey, quick question for you, Tom. That going up, that's Cody, right? That was Cody as well. And did he like pressing elevator buttons? And Tom actually just responded to me saying, yes, he was obsessed. All the dialogue is verbatim what he would say in an elevator. So there you go. And so Nathan knew exactly, as a young Nate Ruegger, knew exactly what to say and how to say it, apparently, by looking at his little brother. So
It's so true when they say write what you know.
Exactly. Well, I can't wait to get into this one, but before we do, Nathan, why don't you please tell us, when did this episode first premiere?
Oh, Joey. Okay, so this episode premiered on September 17th, 1992, which was a Thursday. It was the same day that Frank Zappa made his final professional public appearance, where he conducted the Ensemble Modern at the Frankfurt in Australia. In Germany. I don't know why. It was also one day before the release of movies School Ties, Husbands and Wives, and Captain Ron. And it was one day after the release of Tiny Toons episode Foxtrot, which we did an episode on, which is why these notes might sound familiar.
Oh, there we go. Yes, I was going to say, why did we talk about Captain Ron before? Yes, and School Ties, was that Brendan Fraser, or that's a different one. I'm thinking of. Maybe that was School Ties. Was that with Brendan Fraser?
Maybe it sounds sort of.
I don't know, but I know Captain Ron.
I know Husbands and Wives is with Woody Allen. School Ties is with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, okay, I know that movie then. Yes, he plays a Jewish student, and I think he's facing prejudice and stuff like that from fraternity people. I remember really wanting to see that movie as a kid, and my parents saying, no, it's R-rated, you can't watch it or something. So I was like, well. But anyway, so a lot of good movies. I have not seen more than Captain Ron, but I'm assuming the others are great. Sure, why not? But let's go ahead and get into today's episode, and we're going to start off with Whirlwind Romance. And Whirlwind Romance was written by Dale Hale, and it was directed by Byron Vaughns. And basically, I should start off by saying this whole, what is this called? What Makes Toons Tick? It's kind of a mishmash of stuff. And you can kind of tell that the writers tied these things together by saying, let's make it into time travel. It actually starts off with these kind of bumper segments with Calamity Coyote and Buster getting together saying, we're going to get in Calamity Coyote's time machine, which looks really cool, by the way. Like, I thought this car should be, if there was a Tiny Toon racing video game, I would love to see this involved somehow. It has a time clock at the front of the vehicle, and then two really cool nuclear power towers in the back for exhaust.
Thanks to Calamity's new time machine, we'll travel back in time to take an in-depth look at Dizzy's first romantic interlude. So, kids, this might be a very good time to go and get yourself a nice cheese sandwich.
They go back in time, and Dizzy used to not have anybody to love. It was so boring for him. Everybody in spring, Buster and Babs, they're in love, at least in this segment, for a few seconds, are in love. Montana Max is being dragged by Elmira, and Go-Go Dodo is in love with a blender. So everybody has a partner, except for Dizzy. Dizzy finds the whole thing very boring.
Everyone too busy with love stuff. Bluck. Boring, boring, boring. And when Dizzy gets bored, Dizzy eats. Dizzy eats lots.
Meanwhile, off in the desert, two different gusts of wind, a blue gust of wind and a pink gust of wind, come together. And when a mommy gust of wind and a daddy gust of wind come together and they love each other very much, they create a different gust of wind. It's true. It's science. And so this new whirlwind goes off, and she has eyes and lips, and she goes and runs through a farmstead somewhere in the desert, gets clothes, and meets Dizzy. Well, Dizzy just thinks, well, this is a female Tasmanian Devil, and, he wants to be friends with her and calls her baby. Comes on a little strong. So he asks to hold my hand, and she basically twirls him around the place, and she takes him into a cave, and you hear this big thud, and she leaves, and kind of the clothes blow off, and she goes off into the distance, never to be seen again.
She's gone. And naked too.
And so he goes and he cries and he walks all the way back into town, all the way back to where the park is, where the three like Tex Avery looking girls are there, and they all look, oh my gosh, he's this purple thing. He's so cute.
Hey, girls, look what I found.
Oh, he's so cute. Seen. Where are you from?
This is still a little sad, but me think we will get over it.
And that's the end. So there we go. There's a few highlights and lowlights, I suppose, of this little short segment. But let's talk about what you guys thought of. I didn't really see any real cultural references at this, other than maybe the music that was playing when the whirlwind was, in the desert. There's this just beautiful music that's playing. And I don't know if it's a theme to a movie, but it really sounded great. So if any of our listeners who are music experts know if this is an actual theme to something, please let us know. But let me just ask you guys, Nathan, Kellie, what did you two think about this episode, this first cartoon, I should say? Nathan, let's start with you.
Oh, it was nice. I don't know. It seems not really to do with time travel at all. Like they went 2 weeks ago? I don't know when this happened, but
we should point out, and I meant to say at the beginning of this, the ending credits are great on this one. Because it says, what do these three cartoons have in common? Nothing. Which is really true. They just kind of had to come up with something to take you from one segment to the other one. It had nothing to do with either of the other two segments. But any moments that really stood out for you, Nathan?
I saw some saguaro cactuses, which reminded me of Arizona.
Go figure. Kellie, what about you?
I thought Dizzy was really cute in it, and at the end he was like, he's still sad, but me think we will get over it. That was cute.
He really is it's very almost like a Cookie Monster kind of character, isn't he?
That's probably what it was that I thought was so great, because he does talk a little bit like Cookie Monster, and I, as you know, love Cookie Monster.
Yeah, and he does look really super cute and cuddly. It did remind me, I don't think any of these girls actually were romantically attracted to Dizzy Devil. I think he was misinterpreting their attraction to him. I think they were like, oh, it's a cute little stuffed animal kind of thing.
Like a puppy.
Like a little puppy, yeah, exactly.
I think actual Tasmanian devils are not cute, though, right?
No, they're not purple either. And they don't have cute little hats on.
Yeah.
Eyes remind me of David Bowie.
What was that?
His eyes remind me of David Bowie.
What? Does he have two different eyes or something? Yeah, 2 different eye colors?
Eyes.
Oh, I had no idea he had 2 different eye colors. Well, there's a little things. The animation in this episode was really cool. When Dizzy says, oh, it's boring, and he sticks out his tongue and, does that. His little propellers twirl on his head when he does that. Little details like that. Maurice LaMarche does the voice of Dizzy, and I think they might have pitched it a little bit. It seems like they kind of, I don't know if Maurice can just do that voice naturally or not. My guess is that they would pitch it up a little bit.
Dizzy's still bored and lonely.
The only thing that kind of made me go, I don't know if that would say that anymore these days, was when Buster says that the people that Tasmanian devils are only found to be lovable by people with tiny brains.
So basically, a disgusting spinning garbage disposal, he is found to be lovable by people with very tiny brains. Hi, girls.
And then they go to the girls, and I'm like, I don't think they would.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the first description of
the women in these things.
Yeah.
But in this case, the women are played as very one-dimensional. I guess they have names, right? They have, on our little show notes here from the Wikipedia, they actually were in several episodes. So there's Mitzi and, I don't know, Nathan, do you have that?
Taffy and Jessie.
Yeah, Mitzi, Taffy, and Jessie. Only one of them is credited, I think, in the credits of this episode. But yeah, so they're reoccurring characters.
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony, and now this cartoony is a game for NES. There's action, adventure, and not to mention danger. Montana Max's structure that you've got to set her free. Each toon has a talent he can use that's really neat. Potty Years, Dizzy spins, and Burbo has his feet. from Konami, yes!
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to the main attraction, I suppose. Let's get to the main event. Let's get to Going Up. And Going Up was a story by Tom Ruegger, as we talked about, based upon Cody Ruegger, written by Nicholas Hollander, and this was directed by Byron Vaughns. And Kellie, why don't you tell us what happens here in Going Up?
Okay, Plucky and his mom, baby Plucky and his mom, it looks like a shopping mall. They're at a shopping mall. And I don't know how common shopping malls are anymore because they are pretty much dying. If they weren't dead before this pandemic, they're dead now.
Yeah.
But anyway, back in the day, we used to go to shopping malls and shop. And I actually liked to push the buttons on the elevator when I was a kid. I wasn't obnoxious like baby Plucky, but my brother and I would fight over who got to push the button. But maybe most kids do that. I don't know. Anyway, they're at the mall and they go on the elevator. And at first he's really scared. He doesn't want to go in the elevator.
Here we go, son. Watch your step.
No, I'm scared.
But, darling, there's nothing to be afraid of.
No, I'm scared.
It won't bite.
No, I'm scared.
But, he says, I pushed the button. You know, push the button. I pushed the button. And he pushes the button to get in the elevator. And then once they're in the elevator, he wants to push the button to the floor. And so his mom tells him which floor to push, and he does.
I pushed the button. Again and again and again.
Lovely.
Elevator go down.
Yeah?
Elevator go down.
That's right.
Elevator go down.
Okay.
But he's not satisfied with that. He wants to continue pushing the buttons. And it gets a little crazy. And they finally get back down to the first floor. And I guess she decided or forgot that she wanted to go somewhere because I think she wanted to go to the 8th floor. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, time to go home. Maybe she was just tired of his antics. And he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay in the elevator and was pitching a fit. And everybody was looking at them. And so while they're walking towards the doors to leave the mall, he sees a little baby Babs. And he grabs her hand, sticks her hand in his mom's hand, and then he runs away back to the elevator. And his mom continues on, not realizing that, baby swap tip has gone up. And so he gets back up in the elevator, and now he's being really obnoxious. I would have slapped the kid, honestly, because he's terrorizing the people on it, and they makes them go up and down, and when they can finally get off the elevator, they start muttering themselves, like, somebody lets their child run wild and things like that. You can kind of hear amongst the chatter.
My elevator, not your elevator. My elevator, not your elevator. Mine.
And so he keeps playing with the buttons and going up and down, and now he pretty much has the elevator to himself. And then he goes down to the sub basement, and he's like, elevator go down the hole, bottom of the hole. And down in the sub basement, there's a thief who's tied up the security guards, and he's stealing money from the vault. So he takes the elevator up, or he pushes the up to go up, and then that's when baby Plucky comes down. So he gets in the elevator with baby Plucky because he's staring straight ahead and doesn't even see him on the floor.
My elevator, not your elevator. My elevator.
Let go, kid.
I pushed the button. No, you pushed the button. I pushed the button.
Let go.
It's my turn. It's not your turn. It's my turn.
Baby Plucky's driving him crazy, and he starts going up and down so hard that the guy's leaving imprints on the floor and on the ceiling. And it's ridiculous. And meanwhile, his mom finally gets to the car, and as she's putting, quote unquote, baby Plucky into the car seat, she realizes that it's not baby Plucky. And so I hope Babs got back with her mom.
Yeah, they or maybe she just turned her into Lost and Found or something. I don't know.
Oh, and I should point out, this bothered me when I was watching the episode. This shows the change in the times. But baby Plucky kept pushing the buttons, and then he put his thumb in his mouth. And I was just like, oh, no, you need some hand wipes or something. No, Yeah. And even back when there wasn't a pandemic, my granny was like that. She's like, "Wash your hands, Kitty. Wash your hands. Ooh, germs. Ooh." Granny was a hoot. Anyway, so his mom comes running back into the mall, and meanwhile, the guards escape the ropes, and so they get back upstairs, and just in time to see Plucky and the guy. He keeps trying to get out of the elevator, and finally, baby Plucky's mom sees him, and they are reunited. And the bad guy doesn't really show him get caught, but it shows him stuck back on the elevator, going way back down to the bottom of the mall again.
Yeah, not to the sub basement like it was at the beginning. I noticed the second time watching this that he doesn't go all the way back down to the sub basement again. He just goes to the basement. So who knows? I'm assuming he got caught, but maybe not, because the same character whose name is Hitcher is later in Tiny Toon Adventures: How I Spent My Summer Vacation as a murderous hitchhiker who wants to eat Hampton and his family. So maybe he never got caught.
Well, yeah, it seems like he could have escaped out of the basement.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So
and the police got their money back, so they're like, well, whatever.
Whatever. Let him go.
Live and let live.
Well, there's a lot of cool moments in this cartoon. I mean, this is I think anybody who's seen this episode remembers it. I remember seeing it as a kid and just loving it, especially because we had a glass elevator a lot like that at the Tucson Mall. I remember, automatically making that connection to this episode, like, oh, that's like our mall. So this is a huge mall, though. This is like, how many floors? 12 floors or something?
Something like that, yeah. And 2 basements.
Yes. What was that, Kelly?
My mall only had 2 floors.
Yeah, so that's the same with...
Yeah, ours is like, it's like, oh, the 2-story mall that we can go to. We had,
I think most malls are only 2 stories. I mean,
most malls might be 1 story.
This is literally the tallest mall in Toontown. Yeah. I don't know. They can't even say America. But in Acme Acres, they apparently are very limited for space, so they built up and made a mall that was huge. Most of the signs are...
And only 1 elevator, right?
No, they had multiple elevators. They had a few glass elevators around the place. It's really a huge mall. I mean, this thing went bankrupt years and years ago. This is not feasible with internet shopping. And plus, one of the stores is just named Jall, Jall, I noticed, which is, I don't know what you sell in the Jall, but... yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of cool moments in this. Let's start, I guess, Kelly. Well, actually, you talked about it. So, Nathan, let's start with you. Any moments in this that you thought were cool?
I liked Baby Plucky in this. Is that weird to say?
No, not at all.
No, like when he's wants to go in the elevator, and then he's immediately scared to go into the elevator, which is very cute.
Yeah,
I scared. Yeah, just every time he talks, just everything's very funny.
Yeah,
so escalators that always scared me.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of kids scared of escalators, which it kind of makes. I mean, you can actually get hurt on an escalator relatively easily too. So, I mean, especially for a little kid, my mom would always tell us about how she broke her arm on an escalator when she was like a little kid. I don't know how true this is, but she broke her arm. She said, by pushing on the arm thing at the very top of the escalator. I know as a kid, I would like try to push on the whatever you want to call that, the hand
to like feed it into the hole.
No, to like push it against it or something, like push back
weird.
on it. I don't know. We would just do that, like a conveyor belt, like push against it at the top. And my mom would stop us and say, "Don't do that." When I was a kid, that thing flipped off the thing and wrapped around my arm and broke my arm. Now that horrific thing, I have no idea if that's true or not, but my mom always said it to me. So
should I get her on the podcast and see if?
Yeah, that's right. Go get mom. Well, I don't think you don't want get mom on the show. She'll just talk forever. But it's like, I mean, Baby Plucky is super cute in this. I mean, just the elevator go up. That's right, baby. Elevator, not elevator, elevator. I got to say it right.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the closed captioning, at least on the DVD, did not get it right. They kept saying
did it wrong.
Elevator. And they didn't even say, what was that?
Hulu got it right.
Oh, good. And they missed out little things on the DVD as well, like "yes, sir." Like they don't put that in there.
Wow.
I love the mom's response to the third time. Like Plucky's like, he's like, yeah,
yeah. I know Tris McNeil just doing her mom voice, same as Mindy's mom, and everything is just so great. And just the delay of that last one where he's like, "Elevator go up." It's just super cute, and just the little moments like this was storyboarded, I should mention, by Keith Tucker, who's great storyboard artist. He did a lot of storyboards for DuckTales and Gem and a lot of classic cartoons. So he has what was that?
I had to.
Yeah.
like a triggered response.
Exactly. That's classical conditioning, as they say, right? Have to do that. But if you go to tuckertoons.com, I believe, you can see some of these storyboards for Baby Plucky and doing it. But it's just the expressions on his face as well. Like when everybody clears out, like when you were saying, Kelly, everybody's grumpy and he's just on the elevator, like with his arms crossed. It just looks so cute. Like he's just so bossy. And that temper tantrum that he has, like, no, it's such a fake temper tantrum, like a little kid will have, because as soon as he sees Babs, he immediately steps out of it.
Wanna do it again! Wanna do it! Oh!
Stops crying immediately. And Babs, her eyeballs, that little baby bunny, that baby's eyeballs were just 3 times.
Well, eyes never grow.
That's true. They always stay the same, right?
They're probably the same. She has big eyes as a regular bunny.
Like
Right? So.
Nice.
I didn't hear that.
Anime.
Oh, the anime eyes, yeah.
Well, she is animated.
Animated.
She reminded me of Mindy too when she says, "Hi, lady."
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention that.
Hi, lady.
Yeah, so a lot of cool little moments, and we should mention that of course this specific episode or cartoon essentially shows up as a reference in Animaniacs episodes. This was referenced in Survey Ladies.
Would you like to take a survey?
No. Elevator go down the hall.
So you can see Baby Plucky in there, and just a lot of going down the hole. Wasn't there? I guess the golfing one, right, where it's Slappy and in the garden.
Yeah, but that might have been more for the toilet one. There's one that was les Boutons et le Ballon.
Oh yeah,
they're in France, and they go into the Eiffel Tower, and there's a Baby Plucky, and he says
it in French.
Yeah, he says it in French.
Or whatever he says. We'll put it in the thing here.
No, tu pousse le bouton, je pousse le bouton. Elevator, voilà. Je le fais encore.
So,
which of course Nathan Ruegger does know French. So
yeah, this very impressive.
I don't think Nate Ruegger gets enough credit for being such a great voice actor as a kid. I mean, now he's doing directing, and he has this really cool spooky short that's been put out on the internet. You can check out his Twitter page for that, I think, which is at Nate Ruegger to find links to that. But he made this Goat Man movie, which is spooky. So now he's like doing all these scary movies and everything. But back in the day, he was a talented little kid.
He's still talented.
He's not a little kid anymore. That talent just grew, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, good stuff. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our last segment for today, which is called Nothing to Sneeze At.
Next up, a trip all the way back to last Thursday as Hampton and Sneezer encounter the age-old childhood fear. The closet monster.
And Nothing to Sneeze At was written by Beth Bornstein and Paul Dini and was directed by Byron Vaughns. And Nathan, why don't you tell us what happens in Nothing to Sneeze At?
Ooh. So this one stars Oogie, the closet monster, and he's trying to scare Hampton, but Hampton is too old and he says there's no such thing as closet monsters.
I'm the terrifying closet monster, and you're the hapless kid scared to death of me. Like, that's the deal, you know.
Look, there's no such thing as closet monsters.
Oh, nuts.
Even though it's clearly right there, but that means Oogie is out of a job, so he has to go to the unemployment office and try to find a new job. And while he's in the bathroom, the receptionist is like, hey, I got a new job for a closet monster. And all the other monsters there are like, yeah. But then they find out it's for Sneezer, and they decide like, oh no, this is terrible. So they all run away. Then that's when Oogie comes out of the restroom and he's like, oh, cool, closet monster job. So he doesn't know that you don't want to be Sneezer's closet monster.
Oh.
The receptionist is even like, oh, I hope his insurance is up to date or something like that, you know. So yeah, he goes over and, you know, you think it's a little mouse. Surely I'll be able to scare this mouse. But instead, Sneezer's just like bemused by all the scary things the closet monster's doing. It's like, oh, I can make scary faces and noises too.
Hey, that's pretty good. I can make scary sounds too. Yep, I sure can.
And then Sneezer sneezes after he makes his scary noises and faces, and Oogie is blown out of the mouse hole. Sneezer comes out and trying to figure out what happened, and Oogie's like, why aren't you scared of me? I could be your worst nightmare. And he like even takes the form of like a cat. You would think this mouse is going to be afraid of a cat, but no, Sneezer's allergic to cats, I guess, because he sneezes again, and he just keeps sneezing until all of Oogie's skin falls off.
Yeah.
Or what is?
He blows off his spots, and then he blows off his purple
spots?
skin.
Yeah, the purple skin part. And then he's just in his underwear, and then Sneezer's making fun of him because he's in his underwear.
The monster lost his pants.
So Oogie has to head back home, and he's lost another job, I guess, and he's like, decides he needs to get a new profession, he's saying, in bed. And then, you know, wouldn't you know it, his closet's opening up and there's a scary shadow coming out. Oh, and he's frightened because it's Sneezer. He's back. And that's how it is.
Poltergeist.
Yep. Boom.
That was their one cultural reference really to that. Although, if kids were to see this today, they would say, oh, it's a reference. This is like Monsters Incorporated. Because it really does have a pre-Monsters Inc. feel to it, doesn't it? With the monsters all working and have to go into the closet and then go to this portal to another place. So I think that the people
Pixar stole it.
Yeah, Pixar stole this idea, ran with it, and
Sneezer's basically Boo. You know,
exactly. I'm not saying that Pixar owes the writers of Tiny Toons some money, but I think they owe them some money.
Even calls him a kitty, and Oogie becomes a kitty. Oh my gosh.
What? It's all connected.
There's too many connections.
But it's a cute thing. I mean, cultural references, there's not really much of anything in here other than I saw some cool little things on the wall of Hampton's bedroom. There was like Curse of Frankenswine and Night of the Werepig. And he also had some books such as Porcine Sports Legends, and of course he's into literature such as Pygmalion, and also reading Hamlet. So some good pig puns right there. But there's also a lot of connections to old Looney Tunes cartoons. Pretty much any kind of scary-ish villain that would go against Bugs Bunny, yeah, they're probably in this cartoon. So they have, I'm just going to name a few of them here. Witch Hazel's in there, of course. Hugo the Abominable Snowman. They have some of those instant Martians, kind of the bird-looking guys that pop up from Marvin the Martian. Gossamer Jr. is in it. I don't remember Gossamer Jr., but I do remember the big Gossamer guy. But there's a little Gossamer there, so Gossamer Jr., I don't know. But they have some other Blood Count, vampire guy from one of the Chuck Jones cartoons with Bugs Bunny is in it. So a lot of various.
There was
things.
like a gremlin there, right?
Yes, I did see the gremlin. That's right. Real quick, there was a gremlin. So there's just a lot of stuff. I really like those moments when in Tiny Toons and Animaniacs when they're just throwing a bunch of stuff. And if you don't pause it, you won't see it. And even if you do pause it, if you don't know your cartoons, you probably don't get the importance of why that's even there.
Like, that's a cool design.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really cool to see. But let's start with you, Kelly. What are some moments in this that you thought were funny or cool?
I just like Cesar. I think he's. I always think about him being in the phone call from the 405.
Oh yeah.
And then when he said he was allergic to nightmares.
I'm allergic to nightmares.
I thought that's cute because they reminded me of my dog. He's not with us anymore, but he was allergic to humans, which I thought was hysterical. I had to actually get allergy shots, mostly because of trees and grass. But it's like people get allergic to dogs, and dogs get allergic to humans.
I had no idea that was possible.
Or actually, more similarly, it's like Morla, the ancient one in the Neverending Story. He's like, I'm allergic to you, and he keeps sneezing in order for you. But anyway, so I thought that was really cute, and I liked the light, the way it lit up the closet when the monsters appeared.
Yeah, that really cool glowing. I don't know how they do that because it really is this orange, really bright light that comes out and stands apart from the rest of the colors in the episode. So, the voice itself of that Oogie, who Joe Alasky, I believe, does the voice of Oogie in this. Joe Alasky is credited at in this episode as voicing Plucky, but of course, adolescent Plucky doesn't talk in this episode. Only Nate Ruegger is little Plucky voices. So I believe Joe Alasky is doing the voice, and it kind of sounds like a Bobcat Goldthwait or Pete the Puma voice by Stan Freberg kind of thing going on. So he had a goofy voice. I really like that. I don't know. It was cute. I just like not much to it, but it's still cute. And Cesar is kind of a one joke character, but you team him up with the right thing, and it's all good. Oogie's not the most intimidating character. Maybe it would have worked slightly more for me if I actually did think Oogie was a threat. I don't think Oogie was ever threatening at all. You know what I mean? Even though they go down to the water cooler and they're all drinking blood from a water cooler, it just he just doesn't seem that intimidating. Yeah, he's fine. He just drinks blood. Whatever.
Well, once you tell him he's imaginary, he's like, well, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully.
That's kind of how real monsters work, too, You just tell them they're imaginary, and then they go away.
Oh. Have experience with this, Nathan?
Yeah.
Oh.
And now I don't have them anymore.
Oh, wow.
So now they're all gone. Because I'm like, hey, you don't exist. And then there you go.
Oh.
He reminded me of John C. Reilly, his voice.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking whenever he
sound
talked.
like John C. Reilly.
I was like, what?
You hear Paul F. Tompkins do his John C. Reilly impression
I'm sure I have.
It's pretty much this. Now that I think about it, he's like, "I gotta watch Cirque du Freak."
And I like that that Oogie wants to be a tooth fairy or something. I'm just trying to imagine him as a tooth fairy.
Yeah, I want to see the sequel to this one with him as a Easter Bunny or
Easter Bunny. Or
which,
tooth
I
fairy.
mean, gosh, that was kind of a spoiler for some little kids, I suppose, saying that these two are imaginary. But I don't know.
Well, if they also think that monsters are,
There's
he's
power.
not imaginary. He exists. Look at him.
Yeah, it's power and imagination, right? Is that what?
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. Well, let's go ahead. Let's get to what we were waiting for: the water tower rating. Well, Nathan and Kelly, let's get to it. Out of 5 water towers, how many would you give this episode of Tiny Toon Adventures? Nathan, let's start with you.
Ooh, okay. I didn't want to go first. Okay, I'll say 4. 4.
Why?
Because I don't want to say 4.5. No, I don't know. No, I think obviously, if it was just Baby Plucky, it would be like a 5 and then go home, But like the Dizzy Devil one is like, it's fine. There's only the one funny joke I felt where she lost all her clothes. She's naked. And then the rest of that, I was like, okay, this is fine. And then the final one is just kind of like, it was interesting seeing all the monsters, but again, like, it's nothing can compete with the Baby Plucky cartoon. I don't know if those were not good cartoons. It's just like the Baby Plucky's just so good. It makes everything else around it seem not as good.
All right. Kelly, what about you?
I'm going to go with 4.5, mostly because of Baby Plucky. I do feel like the bookend segments weren't nearly as strong, but they were fine. And so yeah, I'll be more generous than Nathan.
All right, and I'm going to agree with you, Kelly. I'm going to go with 4.5 for this as well, for all the reasons you guys were saying. Yeah, Baby Plucky going up. That's like, it's totally the best segment in classic. And if I were just telling somebody like, here are like the top segments of Tiny Toons you should watch, I would totally include at least this middle segment as I think in my top 10 easily that people should watch. So 4.5 out of 5 for me as well.
Hello, listener. This is Jess Harnell, the voice of Wacko on Animaniacs, and you're listening to Animanicast, which is the best thing you could possibly listen to, especially if you're not wearing pants. I'd love to go on talking to you, but I can't because I've got a potty emergency. See you later.
So we're going to play. We have a very, very, very important question to ask you.
We have a very, 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 very important question to ask you.
And I have thought of a character in my head, and Nathan and Kelly will ask me 21 questions or less. Hopefully they'll get it. And we'll start with you, Nathan.
All right, this is out of left field. Is this character in the opening theme song?
Yes.
These are all yes or no questions, right?
They can be. If it's short, I'll give a short.
Joey, give a yes or no response.
I'm sorry,
please.
Maybe?
Yeah, that can be my
How about
question.
mostly as yes or no?
Okay, so now we're at 2 questions.
No, that's not Kylie's questions yet.
Let's see. Is the character male?
Yes.
Is the character human?
Yes.
Does the character work for Warner Brothers?
No.
Oh man. Is the character in more than 2 episodes of Animaniacs besides the theme song?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
But it's a human male. This is what we've gotten so far.
Not in more than 2 episodes.
Not more than 2. I think there's only 1 episode that's really like featured heavily.
yeah. I just wanted to check if it was a side character. Seems like it's a side character.
Was the character in a segment with the Warner siblings?
Yes.
Is the character a historical figure?
Yes.
I really should rewatch the opening again.
That's cheating. You can't do it right now.
Not right now, but
Don't focus on the beginning. Don't focus on the beginning.
Yeah, it's obviously like he gets his head hit or something. You know, it's gonna be.
Oh, is it Beethoven?
Yes. Wow.
That's who I was thinking.
That was only 8.
Woo!
There you go. And that's how you play. We have a very, very, very important question to ask you.
Llama, 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 a question answer, please. When we hear the answer, we promise that we'll leave. Hey!
See, the question is, the rounds don't have to go that long. You got it right away. And I thought it was.
Is that a reference to my long
Yes,
ones?
that will never be aired. The mime one that we got, it was torture.
I thought you were going in that direction again, but the mimes are more than 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was going to ask that question, just to be like,
it's not the mime.
Get that out of the way.
We will never air that one, mainly because it's been lost to the trash can on my computer, but also because it was torture. We're not going to play it when Nathan gave us the mime. Just know, people, it was torture. Well, let's go ahead and get to some contact information. Nathan, where can people reach you online?
Joey, I'm on Twitter, JangoFT, that's me.
And Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODA, Korean CSS, or email me, Kellie at BigShinyRobot.com.
All right, and of course, the Animaniacast, you can reach us over on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, or you can send us an email, which is animaniacast@retrozap.com. And speaking of retrozap.com, you should head on over there right now today. Do it now. And why? Well, because there's great content there every single day. Not only podcasts, but fantastic articles as well. And so you can check out actually the podcast feed for RetroZap, and you can get every single RetroZap podcast, including the Animaniacast, put right to your podcast player absolutely for free. So do it. It's great content. And if you want to talk to not only us, but all the other RetroZap folks, you should head on over to our Discord channel. You can get a welcome link by going to discord.animaniacast.com, and that will give you the welcome link to join the Discord channel and talk about Animaniacs or really anything pop culture. We have a lot of great people in there, and it's really one of the most active channels on the RetroZap group. So thank you to all the people on our Discord group for keeping it moving and fresh and friendly and just fantastic. So there you go. Fresh, friendly, and fantastic. The triple Fs of the Animanicast. Whatever that is. Put that on a shirt. Okay, well, that'll do it for today's episode. So for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Wanna go on the elevator? My turn. No, you push the button. I push the button.